Episode 135 of Pokemon Horizons, titled Awakening the Catastrophic Laquium Core, aired yesterday, and despite this video having a 2,500 word script, I really can't find the words at all to describe how insane the episode was. From the most horrifying moment of the whole show to climaxes everything has been building up towards, this episode really left the entire community speechless, and we have to talk about it in this review video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and now let's dive into it. So our heroes are facing Spinel for the final showdown. Pogogo transforms, and I kid you not, we get over 3 minutes of straight up terastallizing. It's pretty animation to be fair and super climactic, but I can't help but laugh thinking of Spinel just standing there awkwardly for 3 minutes allowing him to do it. Anyway, the Terra team begins rising into the sky and erasing the Laquium altogether, but then they're attacked by Explorer's grunts, and also by the two characters nobody asked for who show up and send out their electrodes. And I'm not even going to acknowledge that one of their electrodes are shiny, because I'm completely done with their stupid, plucked out of thin air gimmicks of the week, and the idea of them also having a shiny electrode makes me want to self-destruct. Speaking of which, the electrodes launch up into the sky and try and self-destruct the Terra team, but Penny's Sylveon is the absolute GOAT and protects everyone, taking the full impact of the attack and being defeated. This was such a cool moment for Penny. She saved everyone's Pokemon. She's the reason our heroes can continue. But of course, now Pogogo has lost its Fairy-type fuel and it's in trouble. It can't erase the Laquium. But then out of nowhere, a new Fairy Godmother arrives, Coral's Screamtail, along with the 3 Explorers. Coral terastallizes her Screamtail and has it take Penny's Sylveon's place, powering up Pogogo. The 3 Explorers are betraying Spinel, saying they no longer believe in the Strong Spheres or in him. And of course, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, so they're siding with our heroes just this one time. First of all, what a fantastic way to make Coral and Sidian learning to terastallize in the 3rd arc come full circle. This makes that story development feel important. I do wonder how the heck Screamtail is the same power level as the 6 heroes like the Terra team has to be, especially considering she's had no scream time in over a year, but rule of cool I guess? This was a great story decision, so I can brush over the little inconsistency. Also, I just realised I think I said scream time instead of screen time, but that's so very fitting that I'll keep it in the video. I will admit, I do think the music in this scene kind of undersold how significant the moment was. Like, the Explorers finally being redeemed should have felt a bit more climactic and grand, and a better music choice definitely could have done the trick. So the Terra team begins erasing the Laquium, and then Spinel does his villain monologue. He basically preaches about how humans and Pokemon are untrustworthy and betray each other, so as a result he doesn't value the idea of bonds. So he thinks Laquium is the ultimate power because it overrides and replaces those bonds. Okay, so this is genuinely a really interesting concept that does explain why Spinel does what he does, but the big issue is that I still feel like there's not enough justification for why Spinel feels that way. If we saw some huge defining moment for his character earlier in the series, or some backstory which showed why he believes this, which explained why he believes this, then that'd be perfect. But Horizons really hasn't given us anything. Maybe in the past Spinel was betrayed by one of his closest allies or closest Pokemon, but we don't know that for a fact. So I'm not really sure why he feels this way, you know? If anything, he's been the one doing the betraying throughout Horizons. He betrayed Amethio, Gibeon, and heck, his Umbreon literally evolved through a high friendship bond. So he can't have always thought this way, there had to have been some turning point in the past. So yeah, overall I'm a little conflicted on this moment. It has good ideas, but not a good enough reason behind them yet. Anyway, Spinel is so dead set on his beliefs that he's willing to sacrifice himself for it. He mentally snaps, losing his mind and approaching the Laquium, acting like he's in love with it. Man, this ain't the shipping I imagined. Spinel x Laquium? We'll call this one Pink Crystal shipping, because you know Laquium is a pink crystal and Spinel's name is based on a pink crystal. Crazy fitting, right? Shout out to this guy for connecting those dots. Sorry to use your discovery to ship a man and a rock though. Anyway, since we're already becoming unhinged, let me say this too real quick. Bro, why is Spinel kinda beautiful when he gazes at the Laquium though? The animators are really played up to it and it worked. He may be a villain, but he's a pretty villain. Anyway, in a scene that horrified everyone, the Laquium begins spreading to Spinel's body, taking over him, consuming him. He begins fusing with the Laquium, totally losing the plot as his body vanishes into it. Okay, so I've already made a whole video talking about how scary and horrifying this plot point is, so I won't parrot on about it even more, but man, this was dark. Allowing yourself to be consumed by some unknown alien substance you're obsessed with, it's like something out of a horror movie. In that video, I also theorized that Umbreon would try and free Spinel from the Laquium, and that does end up happening. The little guy desperately attacks the Laquium to try and save his trainer, but he's immediately knocked out. Man, Umbreon better have more to do later in this arc, I swear down. If they just wasted Spinel's friendship evolved Pokemon in a finale all about Spinel's views on bonds, then that's crazy, dude. He could be utilized way more than that. So the Laquium Core begins erupting, lashing out at Pogogo and stopping the Terra Team. Then, from the fusion of Spinel and the Laquium, a huge Laquium Core god monstrosity creature arises, ready to destroy everything, to spread Laquium everywhere. That's horrifying, man! And it turns out this monster was created through the power of Pogogo trying to erase it, and through the power of Spinel's obsession. When those energies were poured into the Laquium, it amplified it, creating this absolute monster. And that's always been a key characteristic of Laquium, even 100 years ago, external stimulus making it more powerful. This is a monster our heroes accidentally helped to create, and the implications and stakes of that are crazy. So right now would be a perfect time for our heroes to get on their little Rotom phones and, you know, start calling everyone they know for help. The champions, the Elite Fours, everyone. Like, man, the world is on the line here. Let's get serious. What's even more horrifying is that when our heroes all attack in one go to try and wipe it out, the Laquium Core just abruptly erupts outwards, knocking out everyone in one fell swoop. Jesus, dude. This moment was utterly insane. It genuinely made my heart skip a beat. It made me stop breathing for a second. It was so shocking and sudden and brutal. What a way to show the true unstoppable power of the Laquium Core. And the background music in this scene really emphasized the end of the world vibes. Our heroes and their Pokemon are down, they're screwed, there's nothing they can do, until Liko rises up, facing the core. Liko declares that facing defeat after defeat after defeat along her journey has made her learn that losing isn't failing, because as long as you don't give up, a path will open. There will be hope, there will be a way forwards. Let's go, man, Liko with the main character monologue. I pray this is the start of the writers giving her more to do in this story arc. Liko's speech gives our heroes and all their Pokemon the hope to rise again after they've fallen down, and that's such a beautiful, powerful way to tie into the name of the arc, Rising Again. The way Liko gave everybody courage gave me goosebumps, man. And they all begin attacking the Laquium Core over and over and over with everything they have, but the Laquium Core just keeps regenerating and lashing out with more power. The birdies blow the Laquium Mist away while the aces protect them, and everyone else are facing Laquium Crystal eruptions. And then the guys take to the sky for the advantage, leading to a beautifully animated aerial sequence of them battling the Laquium tentacles. Things are looking tough until Zygarde rains down from the sky to protect them. It transforms into its complete form in such an incredible climactic sequence. Dude, I really don't understand why they included complete form Zygarde in such an underwhelming way last episode for no reason. They should have just fully saved it for this episode, for this moment, because this was so much better. This felt climactic and impactful. This felt how a complete form Zygarde should feel. I loved it. So the Black and White Dragons team up and combine their power to land the hardest hit so far. This was really cool, and man, I know they're Roy and Amethio's Pokemon now, but this feels like Lucius and Gibeon are still here in spirit, fighting through them. It's quite emotional, really. Somehow though, the Laquium God takes even that effortlessly before lashing out harder than ever again. It is absolutely unstoppable, dude. What are our heroes gonna do here? And then, because of all the stimulus it received from our heroes attacking it, the Laquium Core transforms further, blooming like a huge flower of death. This really gave me Ultimate Weapon vibes from X and Y. And it's even more powerful now, it's even more unstoppable. Even a creative shield strategy from Dot and a beautifully animated Rise and Volt Tackle from Cap, even they're not enough to do a thing. But our heroes do learn from this that the Laquium Core only attacks the last Pokemon that attacked it. The Laquium Core isn't a living thing, it's just a substance reacting to external stimuli. So I guess that's confirmation that Spinel isn't in control, he's just fused into it to give it power. And from this, our heroes have the strategy to keep taking turns attacking one at a time one after another. That allows them to more easily predict the Laquium's attacks and to easily outmaneuver it, but even with that in mind, the core still takes no damage. At this point, Dot is panicking, knowing she's the strategist of the team. It's on her to figure it out, thanks to Penny calming her down and giving her confidence while buying her time, which was a really nice scene for their friendship, by the way. Dot comes to a few massive revelations that totally turn the tide of the war. She realizes the Laquium is defensively regenerating to protect his center sphere, so in true video game fashion, that must be his core weakness. And she also realizes the Laquium is kind of like a virus. It gradually builds a resistance to external stimuli, so in this case, the moves they've been attacking it with. As a result, it's not taking damage anymore because it knows how to counter their Pokemon, their moves. So our heroes realize the only hope they have now is to find some new unstoppable power they've never used against the Laquium before, something it wouldn't know how to resist. That's the only way to defeat it now. This is where the episode ended, but the obvious implication here is that Dot's strategy is setting up Mega Zygarde and Mega Rayquaza in the next episode, since they would probably have new moves, Nihil Light and Dragon Ascent. I probably butchered the pronunciation of the first one, and the new unresisted moves alongside the power of Mega Legendary Pokemon. That would probably be enough to defeat the Laquium. Man, that's such a brilliant way to set up the two Mega Dragons and to make them feel absolutely critical in the battle. They're not going to Mega Evolve next week just for the cool factor or just to flex their aura or whatever. Them Mega Evolving will be the only thing the Laquium Core isn't resistant to, especially Nihil Light, I imagine. So Mega Rayquaza and Mega Zygarde especially will change the entire course of the war. It also sets up incredible stakes, because if our heroes do that and they still can't defeat the Laquium, then all hope is lost. The core would resist everything forever. Game over. I'm sure that won't happen, since we know our heroes are very much alive in the next arc after this. Dude, this episode was incredible overall. The level of stakes and action and strategy and animation was on another level. It was so tense and thrilling to watch. It really did feel like the end of the world, like everything rides on this. For me, Dot strategizing was a great highlight of the episode, and it really made up for how I thought she was treated 2 episodes ago. I loved that all our heroes had their own moments to shine here. The boys in the sky, Liko with her protagonist speech giving everyone hope, Penny with her sacrifice, the explorers betraying Spinel, Cap's rise and Volt Tackle, and the rating of the Laquium Core reacting defensively and learning resistance was really unique. It made for a really thrilling strategic battle with our heroes having to put all of their brainpower together to figure out how to win. I loved that the core felt unstoppable. It didn't feel weak or nerfed whatsoever. They maintained the power level and the threat level the entire way through the episode, and this was way more interesting than ending the series on just like a battle against Spinel. I am slightly confused about why the hell Coral City and Chaos just randomly vanished halfway through the episode, playing zero part in the big final battle. There was no explanation given whatsoever. They just stopped being a part of it despite being there seconds beforehand. Really weird writing choice, but hopefully they'll be around again next week. Like I said earlier, also I feel like the reason behind Spinel's actions wasn't fully justified enough in my eyes. We needed a backstory or more of a defining cause for him to act like he does, to believe what he does. Hey, maybe we'll get that in the next episode. And finally, I did really love Liko's speech and everything in this one, but I still do think that Liko needs to be given something even more substantial in the final episode next week, because it does feel like she's kind of getting lost in the crowd a bit in this story arc outside of her speech. I really hope my theory comes true that Mega Zygarde and Mega Rayquaza will strike to create an opening in the Laquium Core, and then that would allow Liko to go into the core and free Spinel. That would give her the most important, significant role of all. It would make up for her not really doing as much this story arc. So yeah, overall this episode was peak, man. It truly felt like a war climactic enough to justify the 3-year build-up in Horizons. And if the next episode can just fix the final few criticisms I have, like Liko and Spinel's roles, then they really will have done a fantastic job at ending the main story of Horizons on such a high note, because this episode was great, dude. So let me know your thoughts on the episode below, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'd really appreciate it. Come join our Discord server using the link in the description, and thank you so much to Just Cadia, Toten, Not Mini, Hope, Shareborn J, Finny, Shiny, alongside all of my other incredible channel members on screen right now. You guys are great. And on that note, thank you all so much for watching, and let's end this video with a moment of silence for Armarouge and Goldengo, the only 2 main cast Pokemon who didn't get to be a part of this final war whatsoever. We wish you guys were still here.